Everybody wants the big change. Everybody wants the breakthrough. Everybody wants the moment that flips their whole life around, but nobody wants to accept the truth that big change is built from small steps. Not dramatic steps, not Instagram-worthy steps, not something that makes the world stop and applaud. No, the kind of steps that feel so small, so quiet, so ordinary, you almost convince yourself they don't matter. And that's why so many people stay stuck. They underestimate the power of small consistency. They keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect motivation, the perfect surge of energy, not realizing that the people who win aren't the ones who get it perfect. They're the ones who keep moving, even when the movement is small. You've got to understand something. It's not about doing everything in one day. It's about doing one thing every day. You don't become disciplined in one night. You don't build confidence in one decision. You don't rewrite your story in one season. You grow through small decisions repeated over and over until they start shaping the person you become. Every small step is a vote for the future version of you. Every time you show up, even when it's inconvenient, you're casting a vote. Every time you honor your habits, you're casting a vote. Every time you stay focused for 5 minutes longer than you wanted to, you're casting a vote. Those small moments stack, they build, they grow, they compound into results you can't ignore. The problem is, most people don't stay long enough to see what consistency could create. They take a few steps, life gets heavy, distractions show up, they lose momentum, and they quit before the breakthrough even has a chance to show up. They quit because they think small steps don't matter. They think slow progress is no progress. They think ordinary days aren't moving them forward. But let me tell you something, the biggest transformations you'll ever experience are built on days where nothing spectacular happens. The day you woke up tired but still showed up. The day you felt defeated but still took a step. The day nobody believed in you but you still kept moving. That's where growth is born. That's where change begins. You've got to stop judging yourself based on how far you have left to go and start honoring yourself for every inch you've already moved. Most people fail not because the dream is too big. They fail because they refuse to respect the small things. The small habits, the small improvements, the small choices. You want a stronger mind. It starts with one focused hour a day. You want a healthier body. It starts with one good meal, one workout, one decision at a time. You want a better future. It starts with one consistent step every single day, even on the days you feel weak, tired, or unmotivated. The truth is, consistency is where character is built. Anybody can show up once. Anybody can be intense for a week. Anybody can be motivated for a moment, but consistency, that's where you separate wishers from winners. That's where discipline takes over. That's where momentum forms. That's where small steps start shaping big results. And the crazy part, when you finally look back, you won't even realize when the shift happened. You won't know the exact day it clicked. You'll just wake up one morning and notice you think differently, you move differently, you respond differently, and you realize you've become the kind of person who doesn't quit anymore. All because you kept taking small steps long after everyone else gave up. Keep reminding yourself, small does not mean weak. Small does not mean slow. Small does not mean insignificant. Small means steady. Small means strategic. Small means sustainable. The biggest mountains you'll ever climb are conquered one step at a time. The greatest goals you'll ever reach happen inch by inch, not mile by mile, and every day you choose not to quit, you get closer. Even if it's 1 centimeter closer, that's still movement, that's still growth. That's still progress someone else didn't make because they gave up too early. Stop looking for leaps and start committing to steps. Stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline. Stop expecting overnight success and start building daily habits. If you can master the small things, the big things will take care of themselves. If you can stay consistent in the quiet seasons, you'll explode in the harvest seasons. But it all starts with what you do today and tomorrow and the day after that. One step, one choice, one commitment. That's how you change your life. Not all at once, but little by little, consistently, intentionally, relentlessly. So keep showing up, keep stepping, keep moving, keep honoring every small decision that pushes you closer to who you're becoming, because small steps repeated consistently turn into big change. That's how greatness is built. You've got to understand something about growth. The path is never smooth. The moment you decide to stay consistent, the moment you decide to take small steps every day, life is going to test you. Distractions will hit you from every direction. Temptations will show up dressed as comfort, as convenience, as excuses that sound graceless and real. There will be days where everything seems to pull you away from your mission, your phone, your environment, your habits, your friends, your emotions, your exhaustion. And that's exactly why you need a system, a structure, a set of rules you follow even when your feelings don't cooperate. Because feelings are inconsistent, but systems keep you grounded. You can't build something big on top of pain. You can't expect to stay consistent if your life is full of noise with no order, no direction, no boundaries. You have to protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. You've got to wake up every day and choose intention over impulse. You have to decide, this is where I'm going, and nothing is pulling me off this track. The biggest enemy of consistency is not laziness, it's distraction. Little things that steal your attention, steal your time, steal your mental energy until you have nothing left for your own goals. Every distraction seems harmless in the moment, but over time they rob you of becoming the person you are trying to become. The truth is, you can't keep saying you want big change while living in an environment designed for small thinking. If your surroundings drain you, reshape them. If your habits sabotage you, replace them. If your circle distracts you, create distance. You're not being rude, you're being responsible for your future. You've got to make it harder to fail and easier to stay consistent. Create systems that hold you accountable. Set routines that guide your time. Build habits that support your energy. Put yourself in places that feed your ambition, not suffocate it. Because success is not about being strong all the time, it's about designing a life that supports your commitment even on your weakest days. Every great comeback starts with clarity. If you don't know what you're chasing, distractions will always win. You need a clear mission, a clear plan, a clear direction. When you know exactly what you want, you stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. When you know where you're going, you stop letting everyone else pull you into their story. Some of you are exhausted not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too much of the wrong things. You're pouring your energy into distractions that don't grow you, scrolling through moments that don't feed you, giving your time to routines that don't move you. And then you wonder why you don't feel motivated. You wonder why you don't stay consistent. It's not your potential that's lacking, it's your focus. Distractions are not just external, they live inside you too. Doubt is a distraction. Overthinking is a distraction. Comparing yourself to someone else's progress is a distraction. Telling yourself you're not ready yet, that the timing isn't right, that you need to wait one more week, that's a distraction. You've got to catch those thoughts before they plant themselves in your mind. You need mental discipline as much as physical discipline. You need to learn how to redirect your own attention. You need to stop letting temporary feelings dictate permanent outcomes. Some days you're going to have to pull your own attention back. Some days you're going to have to talk to yourself. Stay here, focus, this matters, don't drift. You will have moments where everything around you tries to break your rhythm, but that's exactly why consistency requires obedience. Obedience to your purpose, obedience to the vision you said you wanted, obedience to your future self who's counting on you to get things done today. And I want you to understand something powerful. Every time you fight through distraction, you build discipline. Every time you choose focus over convenience, you strengthen your character. Every time you say no to something that steals your time, you're saying yes to the future you're trying to build. You're training your mind to follow your direction, not your emotions. And that's how momentum forms. That's how small steps start moving faster, smoother, stronger. Consistency isn't just a habit, it becomes a lifestyle, and that lifestyle becomes your identity. If you can master your focus, you can master your life. If you can control what gets your attention, you can control your results. Every major breakthrough you're praying for is sitting on the other side of a distraction you have to defeat. Every level you want to reach is guarded by a test of discipline. Every dream you want to live requires a version of you that does not fold under pressure, noise, temptation, or excuses. Your life will change the moment you decide that distractions are no longer allowed to decide your destiny. Stay locked in, stay intentional, stay committed to the small steps, the daily grind, the quiet discipline no one sees but everyone feels in the results. And when you shut out the noise, your consistency becomes unstoppable. You've got to understand the power of compounding, and I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about life. Tiny improvements, tiny steps, tiny habits. They look small, almost meaningless in the moment. You wake up, you do a little bit here, a little bit there, and nothing seems to change. But that's where most people quit. They give up because they didn't see the immediate result. They didn't realize that the small actions, repeated day after day, are like water wearing down a stone. They're invisible in the moment, but unstoppable over time. And this is why so many people never reach the life they dream of, because they don't understand that the big change you want doesn't come from one giant leap. It comes from hundreds, thousands, millions of small, consistent actions. Let me tell you something. Every expert, every professional, every champion you admire started with small, consistent moves. Nobody mastered their craft overnight. Nobody became disciplined in 1 week. Nobody built wealth, health, or a legacy in a single moment. It was daily practice. It was showing up when no one was watching. It was the long, boring, repetitive grind that feels insignificant until suddenly, one day, you wake up and realize everything has changed. That's the power of compounding. That's the power of small steps. That's how small victories turn into monumental results. The problem is, most people are addicted to immediate gratification. They want results now. They want the shortcut. They want the viral moment. They want a sign that they're winning today, and when they don't see it, they quit. But life doesn't work like that. Growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. Transformation happens in the quiet, in the moments that feel like nothing is happening. You make the choice to get up, to push forward, to take that next small step, and you repeat it over and over until it compounds into a force too strong to ignore. And when it does hit, it hits hard because no one else saw the work you were putting in, but your results don't lie. Every time you invest a small bit of energy, every time you improve just a little, you're stacking momentum. It doesn't feel like much, but it's moving you closer to the life you said you wanted. That book you read one chapter at a time, that workout you do one rep at a time, that skill you practice one day at a time, that habit you build one choice at a time, it's all stacking. And the compounding effect is relentless. One day, you'll look back and wonder how you got there. You'll realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It wasn't a single dramatic decision. It was hundreds, thousands of consistent, small steps you refused to skip. That's how change becomes inevitable, and here's the catch. It doesn't matter how small the step is. It matters that you take it. People think they need to do something huge, something dramatic, something flashy, but that's a trap. Consistency doesn't care about flash. Consistency cares about action. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up. You just need to do it again tomorrow. And the day after that, and the day after that. because small efforts repeated consistently always compound into big results. The problem isn't that you can't achieve it. The problem is that you're impatient with the process. Some of you are scared of small steps because you think they're insignificant. You think if it's not massive, if it's not immediate, it doesn't count. But every champion, every leader, every person who has ever done something extraordinary started exactly where you are right now, small, unseen, steady. And what separates the winners from the quitters is that the winners never stopped stacking their efforts. They understood that small progresses still progress. They understood that big results aren't magic. They're math, they're patience, they're faith in the compounding power of consistency. Here's what most people miss. The small steps are training you. They're conditioning your mind, your body, your discipline. Every time you follow through on the little things, you're strengthening your ability to follow through on the big things. Every time you stay consistent in small actions, you're proving to yourself that you can handle the responsibility of bigger actions. That's why the small stuff is so important. Don't ignore it. Don't belittle it. Don't skip it. The small stuff is what builds the foundation for everything else. And when the results finally hit, it will feel like an explosion, but really, it's just the natural outcome of everything you've been doing quietly. The success, the progress, the transformation, it's a reflection of the days you didn't quit, the moments you weren't motivated but still showed up, the habits you formed that nobody else could see. That's how compounding works. That's how small steps lead to big change. That's how ordinary days turn into extraordinary lives. And the best part, once you understand this principle, it gives you a power most people never tap into. The power to control your progress, the power to build momentum, the power to shape your future one small step at a time. So, stop waiting for the dramatic breakthrough. Stop wishing for a miracle. Start investing in the small, consistent actions today, tomorrow, and the next day. And watch as those small steps inevitably turn into the life you said you wanted. Consistency compounds. You've got to understand this. Consistency is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. Every goal you've ever dreamed of, every promise you've ever made to yourself, every vision you've held close to your heart, none of it becomes reality without staying consistent. It's not enough to start. It's not enough to get fired up once, twice, or even 10 times. You have to keep moving. You have to keep showing up. You have to keep stepping forward even when it feels small, even when it feels slow, even when nobody is watching. That's the only way someday turns into reality. That's the only way your dreams stop being ideas in your head and start being results in your life. Most people quit long before they see the fruit of their labor. They start with energy, they start with motivation, they start with excitement. But the moment things get uncomfortable, they leave. The moment it feels hard, they stop. The moment results don't come fast enough, they doubt themselves and quit. And that's the difference between people who talk about what they want and people who actually achieve it. Consistency. Staying consistent even when it's inconvenient, even when you're tired, even when the world doesn't clap for you. That's the work, that's the grind, that's the difference between who you are and who you can be. You have to make consistency non-negotiable. It's not about feeling like it. It's not about wanting it. It's about refusing to allow excuses to dictate your life. You're going to have days when you feel like giving up. You're going to have days when nothing seems to be moving. You're going to have moments where it feels like you're running in place. But those are the moments that separate the average from the exceptional, because the people who succeed, the people who win, the people who change their lives, they show up anyway, they take that next step anyway, they do the work anyway, and the cumulative effect of those small, consistent actions becomes unstoppable. Consistency turns chaos into order. It turns confusion into clarity. It turns doubt into confidence. Every time you show up, every time you keep the commitment to yourself, you're proving that your dream is bigger than your temporary feelings. You're proving that you're willing to endure discomfort, sacrifice convenience, and put in the work that others won't. That's how the impossible becomes possible. That's how the small steps, day after day, eventually lead to massive results. And let me tell you, once you understand this principle, you'll never let a missed day, a setback, or a disappointment make you quit. You'll know that success is not a moment. It's a habit. It's a lifestyle. It's the cumulative power of showing up consistently. And here's the secret most people miss. Staying consistent doesn't just change your results. It changes who you are. Every day you show up, even when it's hard, you're building resilience. You're building patience. You're building character. You're training yourself to handle bigger challenges, bigger responsibilities, bigger opportunities. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit, who doesn't rely on luck, who doesn't wait for motivation, who doesn't let circumstances dictate your life. You're becoming a person who can handle the success you're chasing because you've been consistent when nobody was watching. You've been consistent in the quiet seasons, in the grind, in the moments that feel meaningless. And that consistency compounds into a strength that nobody can take away from you. Think about it. Every small choice you make to stay consistent stacks like bricks. One day, those bricks form a wall, a foundation, a structure so solid that your goals can no longer be ignored. One day, you wake up and realize the person you are today is capable of things you didn't even imagine when you started. One day, the efforts you doubted, the hours nobody saw, the steps that felt insignificant, they turn into momentum, into confidence, into unstoppable progress. That's the power of staying consistent. That's why it's not enough to start. That's why it's not enough to want. You have to keep moving. You have to keep stepping. You have to keep proving to yourself that you will not quit. Consistency also teaches patience. It teaches you that overnight success is a myth. It teaches you that real transformation takes time, persistence, and dedication. It teaches you that results are not about luck. They're about showing up again and again in small ways until the compound effect creates the life you've always wanted. And once you learn that lesson, setbacks become temporary, failures become lessons, distractions become irrelevant. You develop a focus so powerful that nothing can derail the path you've committed to. That's the kind of discipline that separates ordinary from extraordinary. So stop waiting for motivation to show up. Stop waiting for the perfect circumstances. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. The perfect moment is the moment you decide not to quit. The breakthrough comes to the one who keeps moving, even when the steps are small, even when the progress is slow, even when no one believes. That's how you turn your someday into reality. That's how you transform dreams into achievements. That's how small steps repeated consistently lead to big change. Consistency is not just a strategy, it's a lifestyle. It's the bridge between your current self and the future self you've been waiting for. It's the secret weapon nobody wants to talk about, but everyone needs. Every step, every effort, every small action adds up. Stay consistent, keep stepping, and the change you've been chasing will catch up with you.